Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about birth control. Before I get into it, this is the first video that I'm doing after my last video I just posted, which if you have not seen it yet, go ahead and watch that video if you want. I'm kind of starting fresh on YouTube. I have not deleted any past videos or anything like that, but the way that I'm going to be doing YouTube from now on and moving forward is going to be just a little bit different, and the intentions of why I'm doing it is going to be a little bit different. To start off with this video, I kind of want to go over like my mission statement again and then kind of tell you why I am doing this video. In my mission statement, you know, I want to be intentional about what I'm posting and what I'm uploading, so I think it is important to explain why I am posting this video. First of all, if you hear background noise, the laundry room is right behind this wall and I'm doing laundry right now, so it's kind of loud, so sorry if you hear any noise. So my mission statement here on YouTube is to create a space to talk about hard topics, cultivate awareness of the gospel, and spread the light of Jesus. Talking about birth control may not be something that's super spiritual or something that cultivates awareness of the gospel, but I also want within my mission statement to be real and raw and to not hold things back and to help people, you know, if you're struggling with this or if this is something you're thinking about or something like that. I just want to kind of be that outlet and that voice and kind of give you guys a platform and an area to talk about this and feel free to talk about it and not feel judged or anything like that. And if you guys have, of course, any comments on this, feel free to let me know in the comments and we can talk about it. So the reason why I'm making this video is mainly just to talk about my experience with this topic, and then also just as I said before, spreading awareness about it. And you guys don't have to agree with me, you don't have to watch this video and have to believe everything that I say or trust everything I say, but this is just me and my personal testimony. It's not super serious like I'm making it sound to be, but this is just something that I thought would be very helpful for people who may be thinking or feeling the same way I did and having different voices in their head. That's kind of why I'm making this video. Let's go ahead and just jump right into it. As you can tell by the title of the video, I am going to be going off of birth control. So I'm going to start off by telling like my birth control story, and then we'll kind of go from there. Growing up, I never went on birth control or anything. You know, throughout middle school and high school, a lot of girls started going on it because they wanted to regulate their periods or they wanted to get rid of acne or something like that, but I actually was against birth control for a while, mainly because by the time I probably would have been able to go on it or wanted to go on it, I became a Christian, and in my head, I just feel like birth control was a escape if I was having sex to not get pregnant. And so to me, I just felt like I didn't want to take it because I didn't want my parents thinking I was taking it because I was having sex. I wanted to be that role model and my parents knowing that I wasn't having sex. So I guess it was just kind of like basically taking birth control. You could hide behind that so that you could have sex and stuff like that. I don't know. That's just kind of like what my mind went to, and I didn't want to even have people have that thought about me, is like, oh, I'm on birth control because, you know, the first thing they think of when you're in high school is, oh, you're having sex and you don't want to get pregnant. I don't know if that makes sense, but it wasn't because of acne. I didn't have acne really. I started getting acne really bad after high school, and then I also never had irregular periods. My period has always been pretty regular, which is I'm very grateful for that because I know a lot of girls struggle with that. Yeah, I've always had a regular period, so there was really no need, and I wasn't having sex. So continuing, I still never went on birth control after high school, and then by the time I got engaged, I started birth control. I told myself that I would start birth control right after I got engaged so that I would have time to get into my body so that when I started having sex, we would not, you know, have that problem of getting pregnant on our honeymoon. So I always knew that I was going to start it after getting engaged, and that's pretty much what I did. I actually have a whole video on it, so I will link that video for you, but I didn't really research anything about birth control. I didn't like know the effects of it. I didn't know like what it really did. All I knew is that it would help against pregnancy. I started up birth control, and honestly I was really nervous about it because I heard people have, like, some people react differently to it. Some people have really bad side effects, some people don't have any side effects at all. So I was nervous about it, especially with my mood. I was nervous that I was going to get like really bad anxiety or be really mean. And for the first couple weeks, I did kind of have like some mood swings and stuff like that, and I didn't love that. But after that, I didn't really have any problems. My mom has always reacted kind of badly to birth control, mainly like with her anxiety and stuff like that. So she kind of struggled with getting on birth control. My grandma never really had struggles with birth control, but me and her, I have my grandma's body. I think we have very, very similar bodies. We both have had really, really bad period cramps and bad periods and stuff like that. So she said that she went on birth control kind of when it first came out, and she never had problems with it. And same with me. But the only problem I had was, I'll tell you about it later on and why I'm stopping it. But my washer is done. That's kind of my birth control story. So I started it in 2020. So it was around summer of 2020. And so I have been on it for almost 2 years. It will be 2 years in like June, I think. Why I am going off of it. So there isn't a super big reason why I'm going off.
Wi-Fi network. You might want to check the connection settings in the Google Home app.
Jack had a Google Home, and I found it, and I hadn't set it up yet because I only have Alexa, and so I just plugged it in, but I never set it up, and I don't know why I just did that. So anyway, so there's no really like real reason why I am going off of it. As I said, I never really had any bad symptoms, but basically when I started going on birth control, I knew that it wasn't going to be a permanent thing. I was actually a little bit scared because I did hear there's some family members that had some pretty serious things happen to them on birth control, and then I've also heard, you know, birth control can cause infertility and all this kind of stuff, and you know, it depends on who you talk to that they'll tell you something different, but I always knew that it was going to be a temporary thing. So in my mind, I wanted to be on it for about a year or two, and then get off of it when we wanted to start having kids. So I guess I would be on it for about 4 years because I took it from when we got engaged to when we got married, which is about a year. And then now that's 1 year, and then being married 3 years before we have kids is 4 years. So I would have been on it for 4 years, but that was like the initial thought that I had. And then later on, after I started it, I was like, okay, well, maybe once we get the hang of like how to have sex and not get pregnant, maybe I can go off of it. So then I was thinking, okay, maybe after like after a full year of being on it while being married, I'll go off of it. But then recently, so kind of go into my side effect. Recently, I have been having a lot of anxiety, and I'm not going to completely blame it on birth control because I had been on birth control for 2 years almost. I didn't struggle with it for as long as I was on it, but I could definitely tell a significance of like my mood when I'm on it, and especially like comparing before and after. When I was not on it during like when we were dating, I feel like I was a lot nicer and had a lot less mood swings and stuff like that than when I was on it, and I think my husband could definitely agree with that. Again, I'm not 100% blaming it on that, but I do feel like it escalates my mood swings or makes them a little bit harder to deal with. And also, I guess this is another side effect, but I don't know if it is a completely birth control, but I've been getting really bad acne again. It's actually If you've watched my honeymoon vlogs and everything like that, you saw that my skin did not look good for my wedding, which was kind of sad because even like I will zoom in on my wedding pictures and see that I had like pimples on my chin and on my forehead. Thankfully, I had good makeup that covered it up, but seriously, it was so devastating because it's hard, and like I never dealt with acne until I was about 18. I got really, really bad acne just all of a sudden. I don't know where it came from. Also, I didn't realize that I was lactose intolerant or like had allergies with food at that point, so I was eating whatever, so I think that also could have been a thing. Once I kind of got my acne under control during like Jack and I dating, I didn't really struggle with acne at all. My face was really clear. It was great. I didn't have like very bad scars or anything like that. And then basically right after I started birth control, my acne has come back, and as I said before, I struggle with it all throughout my wedding, my engagement, and then on my honeymoon and stuff like that. And it's really hard because when you deal with acne, you like just look at everyone else's face and you just compare, and you're like, man, my face is so just gross compared to that person's face. So I definitely think that the birth control does play a part in my acne because I am putting hormones into my body and kind of imbalancing things like that and messing with things like that. Also, the nice thing about birth control was that it helped my period cramps. As I said before, I had really bad period cramps, and then it's been so nice to have a break of period cramps because even though I still do cramp a little bit, it is definitely not as bad as when I'm not on birth control. So I will be missing that. But another reason why I'm going off of it is so that I can experience my period cramps again. And that sounds really weird, but I really very much would like to have a natural birth, an unmedicated natural birth. And that is something that I'm very passionate about. I talked about it in my last video. Everyone knows about it that knows me, and I'm very passionate about it. My grandma tells me that because she had such painful cramps with her periods, birth was a lot easier because contractions are a lot like cramps, the sensation's a lot similar, but you get a break. So it's a lot easier, she said, going through labor, having to deal with bad cramps. I'm really going to try some different techniques and some different tactics to help my period cramps, but that's another reason why I want to get off of it, is to experience those cramps and to really like see what helps with them. You know, it's just going to help me, I guess, in the long run. And I don't know if that makes any sense or if that's really stupid, but that's just my logic, okay? I kind of feel like I didn't really answer that very well, but let me go into my notes because I kind of wandered off into a rabbit hole. One of the main reasons I'm going off birth control, and I said it earlier, is I've had family who has dealt with really pretty traumatic things while on birth control. And of course, this isn't everyone's story. This doesn't happen to everyone. So she's my grandma's niece. So however that relates to me, I'm pretty close to that side of my family, and she texted me and she watched one of my videos. I forget which video it was. It was a video on periods. I forget which one it was. I'll link it. I knew this going on birth control, but she was on birth control and right before she got married, and she had a stroke from it. There's a whole story about it. Basically, the doctors did not know why she had a stroke. I believe it was like the week of her wedding. She had a stroke. There was no explanation as to why she had this stroke or anything. The doctors could not tell her anything, but the only thing that they could tell her is that it was due to birth control. And I'm not sure the whole situation. I'm not sure how that can happen, but whatever. Kind of reached out and told me that, and then told me some ways to do natural family planning. So that really, like, I've always known that story. I've known that story for a while, but that always kind of scared me. Knowing that it happened to, you know, my like blood family was a little bit scary, but that, I mean, I've never really heard anyone else having that problem. Maybe if you've had a similar situation, please let me know in the comments. I would love to hear about that. But yeah, so that's a little bit of a reason why. And then she did send me this girl's Instagram. Her name is Kori Meloy. I've never heard of her before, except she sent me her link, and I will put her information in the description down below. But I'm going to read, this is her post, and it says, it's all about like what doctors don't tell you about birth control. And I was actually researching before I started this video, and you cannot find anything on like why birth control is bad. Because if you think about it, like most doctors want you to go on birth control, but most of the times doctors don't tell you to not go on birth control. The people that tell you not to is like natural people or people who are in the medical field, but in the medical field for like natural things and stuff like that. So I just thought this was very interesting. So there's a few slides that say birth control slows down metabolism, it depletes nutrients needed for a baby and mom, it can permanently suppress your libido, it disrupts healthy gut flora, and it does not regulate hormones. I'm going to read this description, so it might be long, but I'll put the post in the description so you can read it if you're a visual learner instead of is that a verbal learner or a listening learner? The first picture, it slows down your metabolism. When we shut down ovulation, we automatically suppress the metabolism. HBC produces SHBG and TBG, which bind to not only progesterone and testosterone, but also thyroid hormone, making them unavailable to the body. Remember that the thyroid conducts the metabolism. It depletes nutrients needed for optimal metabolic function, which brings me to my next point. It depletes the nutrients needed for a healthy pregnancy, including folate. And this is the second picture. Zinc, magnesium, selenium, B vitamins, copper, and vitamins A, C, E, and K. You can get right off of a birth control and start trying right away. I'm sorry, what? Some of these are the very nutrient depletions associated with pregnancy loss, not to mention a slew of pregnancy and postpartum issues. This is why Dr. Jolene Brighton recommends a minimum of 6 months and ideally 1 to 2 years to rebuild health after birth control before thinking of conceiving. The third picture, it can permanently impact your libido because it alters your liver at the genetic level to increase the good old SHBG to bind to testosterone. That SHBG may literally never return to normal, even after discontinuing HBC use. And then the fifth picture, it disrupts healthy gut flora and has an antibiotic-like impact, which can lead to a laundry list of issues: yeast infections, leaky gut, candida, SIBO, all the fun things. That in and of itself, you know, can be kind of scary. And, you know, these are all like true facts. And this girl is very, very educated. She's very wise. I have, you know, kind of stalked her and researched her. And the things that she says, she doesn't just say to say, but they are things that she has researched and realized. I also, actually reading this, I have gotten countless yeast infections since starting birth control. I've always kind of dealt with like yeast infections here and there, but ever since starting birth control, I cannot tell you how many yeast infections I've had and how many times I've had to go and get like yeast infection stuff. I actually went to my doctor in September of last year, and I had her check me out because I did not know what was happening. I would get one literally every month, and I thought it was because of my menstrual cup. I thought it was because of changing underwear. I literally don't know, but I would get them literally all the time, and I still get them, but I have literally done everything to not get them. Like, I change my underwear 3 times a day. I use different products. I do different things, and that actually makes a lot of sense. I actually didn't know that, so that makes a lot of sense as to why I get yeast infections a lot. But also, I've told people that I get a lot of yeast infections, and they've actually said that it could be because of birth control too, so that makes sense. But anyway, so that girl, I've kind of just been, as I said, researching her, and there's a lot of good information she has on birth control. Before kind of end the video, I just want to disclaim and say that if you are on birth control, do not feel bad for taking it. I took it for almost 2 years, and you know, I didn't have conviction. I know there's a lot of talk around, especially around like Christians, on like birth control, and you know, everyone has their opinion, everyone has something to say about it. So if you feel fine being on it and you want to be on it just for safety measures, I completely understand. That's totally fine. But I personally want to just be off of it because I know that, first of all, I want to be healthy. I'm not a naturalist by any means, but I also don't feel like the need to put extra chemicals and extra hormones into my body if that's not how God created it. And I know there's a lot of, you know, debate around this because it's like, well, I want to do my part to prevent pregnancy, especially like, you know, I believe you're not supposed to have sex before you're married. So, you know, if you are just taking birth control and you're not married, just to not conceive, I get that. But at the same time, God created our bodies for a purpose, and he created it so intricately that there is a way to naturally not get pregnant. And one of my friends said this to me and it really stuck, and she still says it to me, but she says, if you're supposed to get pregnant and God wants you to be pregnant, he will make you pregnant whether you are on birth control, whether you're doing every single thing to not get pregnant. He will still get you pregnant if he wants you to have a family. And you're never going to be completely ready. You're never going to always have everything together that you need. But I just think it's, for me, important to be as natural as possible. I am very in tune with my body, and I don't like the fact of putting so much chemicals into my body when I know my body very well. And so I can go into very good detail about what we will be doing here on out with natural family planning. I actually was going to talk about it in this video, but I think that would be a great video to do separately. I will be doing ovulation tests. I will be taking my BBT, which is my basal body temperature. I'll be doing, you know, we'll be using condoms and all that kind of stuff. So I will probably do an in-depth video about that once I actually start, because I have not started. So today is February 8th. So I am supposed to be starting my period tomorrow. So once I start my period, the week that I end my period, I will be completely off birth control. So I would like to make that video after kind of I've started this whole thing, because I haven't done it yet. I think that would make more sense. But again, do not feel ashamed because you are on birth control or because you want to be on birth control. I have friends who think kind of similarly to me, that they like the natural, you know, things. They like to be natural, but they want to be on birth control just to be careful. But I just think, for me personally, it's what I feel is the right thing, and there's a lot of ways to prevent it naturally. And again, as I said, if God wants me to be pregnant, he'll get me pregnant whether I'm on birth control or not. So I guess we'll see. But we are doing what we can to prevent it now. We do not want to have children right now. We as humans don't, but who knows what God wants, you know? But we will not be actively trying. So before I end it, I do kind of want to talk about how my husband and I discussed this, because this has been actually something that I have been wanting for a while. I told him that when we got married, I kind of wanted to just be on birth control for a full year, and then get off of it. He was very, very, very hesitant at first hearing that, but that was when we first got married. But all right, sorry if the camera angle changed a little bit. I had to change my battery. So now that we have been married for almost 9 months. So we have been married for almost a year, which is insane to me. But I kind of talked about it a little bit at a time with him, kind of seeing where he was at. I think it's just hard for a guy because, first of all, you know, guys aren't in tune with women's bodies. You know, they aren't a woman, so they don't really understand it all. They just think like, oh, automatically, if you're on birth control, you just won't have babies. But that's not true. And I had to kind of explain it to him. And there's a lot of women out there who don't understand their bodies. And that's the video that my cousin watched that she sent me that text was how to get pregnant and how to prevent pregnancy. So actually I've done a whole video on that. Go ahead and watch that, because that video literally tells you how to get pregnant, how to prevent pregnancy, and that will explain a lot of how we're going to do natural family planning. That being said, I am very in tune with my body. I know a lot of information about my body, and I'll know even more now being on natural family planning, because I will be literally taking my temperature every day. I'll be doing test strips pretty much every day. I'll know exactly what's going on with my body, and there's apps and stuff like that. Yeah, I just kind of had to slowly kind of talk to him about it and make him a little bit more comfortable with the idea, and really talk to him about my body and talk to him about my cycles, because he grew up not knowing anything about the woman body, not knowing really about periods or anything like that. Most guys don't know that unless they live with a lot of girls. So now Jack, whether he likes it or not, knows a lot about the woman body, but that's because you gotta be open, and your husband has to be open about it too, because if he doesn't want a kid and you don't want a kid, then you need to be very openly and honestly talking about it and how you're going to prevent it, how you're going to go about doing it. And even if you're on birth control, it's very important to talk to your spouse about, okay, I'm on my ovulation days, like maybe we shouldn't even have sex even on birth control. Like that's what we did. We had sex, but we would usually use condoms like on my ovulation day. Yeah, I know it's very personal, but as I said in my mission statement, I am open and honest, and just kind of wanted to get that out there, because there's a lot of girls that this is too much information for a lot of girls. A lot of girls don't get this, and I think that that's why, and this is not something I should be ashamed of, or you should be ashamed of. Like, I'm not ashamed of talking about this. This isn't a video for guys, but it's something that I don't think we should be shunned away from talking about, because it's literally what every person goes through. And as a married couple, it's important. And I'm not talking about this in a non-married setting. I'm talking about this in a married setting. So yeah, so Jack kind of now understands what's going to happen. He's still a little bit nervous because it is going to be our first, month going off of it. And so I'm just going to really talk too much to him about it, so that he feels better, he feels more comfortable, he feels like he's in the loop as well, he knows what's going on, he's not just on another island and I'm over here. Like, he's going to be walking through me in this process and knowing everything that's going on with my body and all that kind of stuff, so he feels comfortable with it. Yeah, but that is the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Make sure to comment down below. Comment down below what your situation is. Are you on birth control? Are you not on birth control? Do you have the same kind of mindset as me? Do you not? If you have something else to say about this, please put in the comments. I would love to talk to you. I got a lot more comments than usual on my last video, and I really, really love that. So keep the conversation going. I'd love to talk to you guys about it. And yeah, make sure to follow me on Instagram, where I'm active on there every day, just talking to you guys and hoping to impact your guys' lives. So that is _Lily Allen. And make sure to leave a video suggestion down below as usual. And I love you guys so much. Thank you again for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.